What if one of the biggest stars in music history was once told she wasn't good enough? What if Rejection turned into a global success story? In this video, you'll learn English through the powerful and emotional life of Taylor Swift. From a small-town girl with a guitar to one of the most loved artists in the world, Taylor's story will teach you new vocabulary, help you practice listening, and inspire you to follow your dreams. Turn on subtitles, listen carefully, and enjoy learning English through this real story. What if one of the world's biggest music stars once got rejected by almost everyone? What if she had to fight hard just to be heard? This is the story of Taylor Swift, and it starts with a simple dream. Before the lights, before the stage, before the awards, Taylor was just a young girl with a notebook and a guitar. She grew up on a Christmas tree farm in Pennsylvania. Her days were quiet, filled with music, animals, and stories. She was born on December 13, 1989, in Reading, Pennsylvania. Her parents, Scott and Andrea, noticed she had a big imagination. She loved writing and creating from a very young age. Taylor loved poetry. She would sit alone and write poems about life, school, and her feelings. She started doing this when she was just a child. At age 10, Taylor began to show interest in music. She sang in school events and local contests. People noticed her voice. She listened to country singers like Shania Twain and Faith Hill. She loved the way they told stories through songs. This inspired her. But just singing wasn't enough for Taylor. She wanted to create her own songs. She wanted to tell her own story. When she was 12, a family friend taught her how to play the guitar. That moment changed her life. Now she could write music. She wrote her first full song on guitar soon after. It was about a boy she knew at school. Her music came straight from the heart. Taylor felt things deeply. Her songs were honest, simple, and emotional. She didn't try to sound like others. She practiced for hours every day. She kept a notebook of song ideas. Her room was filled with lyrics and melodies. Her parents could see she had real talent. They decided to support her dream. They took long trips to Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville is the heart of country music in the United States. Many young artists go there to find success, but it's not easy. Taylor brought her songs to music companies in Nashville. She walked into offices and gave people her demo CDs. She hoped someone would listen. Most people said no. They told her she was too young. They said she wasn't ready. Taylor didn't give up. She said, "If they don't believe in me now, I'll give them a reason to." Her mother believed in her too. At local fairs and small events, Taylor performed her songs. Sometimes there were just a few people listening. Still, she gave it her all. She sang at coffee shops. She sang at talent shows. Anywhere she could share her music, she showed up. The crowd didn't matter to her. Big or small, Taylor sang with heart, and people began to listen. One day, while singing at a small event, someone important heard her. A music executive saw her perform and liked her style. That meeting changed everything. Taylor was offered a chance to record with a new company. She was only 14. She signed with Big Machine Records, a label just starting out. She was their first big artist. It was a new beginning. She continued to work hard. She wrote more songs. She practiced every day. She stayed true to her voice. She didn't want to sing songs written by someone else. She wanted to tell her own stories. Her first single, Tim McGraw, came out in 2006. She was just 16 years old. The song was about love and memory. People loved the song. It played on the radio and on music channels. Taylor started gaining fans. She looked different from most pop stars. She wore simple dresses and played guitar. She wrote her own lyrics. Teenagers could relate to her. Her songs talked about school, crushes, and heartbreak. She was real. Her debut album was a big success. Critics praised her songwriting. She was named one of the best new artists. Taylor started touring across the country. She performed at big events and met her fans. She always thanked them. She said, "Without my fans, I have nothing." Her fans felt that. They loved her honesty and kindness. Even with growing fame, Taylor stayed focused. She kept writing music. She didn't let success change her. She still used the same guitar, still sat in her room with a notebook, still wrote about her life. And her life was just beginning to change. From a small-town girl to a rising star, Taylor Swift had taken the first step. But the road ahead was still long, and the world hadn't seen anything yet. Taylor Swift's first album made people listen, but success didn't come without challenges. She had to work harder than ever. She was young, but she acted like a professional. Every day she woke up with a plan. She focused on music, writing, and her fans. She traveled to different cities. She performed live shows every week. She visited radio stations and gave interviews. It was not always easy. Long days, little sleep, and constant travel. But Taylor never complained. She loved what she did, and she felt lucky, but she also knew it was the result of her hard work. She won awards for her first album. She received praise for her songwriting. People called her a new voice in country music. But not everyone was kind. Some said she didn't belong, some said she was too young to last. Taylor listened, but she didn't stop. Instead, she turned those comments into motivation. She wrote even more. In 2008, she released her second album, Fearless. It was a major step forward. This time, she added more pop elements to her songs. Songs like Love Story and You Belong With Me became massive hits. Fans sang along. The songs played on radio stations everywhere. Fearless won Album of the Year at the Country Music Awards. It also earned her a Grammy. Taylor was now a superstar. But she didn't lose her honesty. Her songs still told personal stories. She wrote about love, heartbreak, and growing up. She said, "I write songs like diary entries." That made her music powerful. People felt connected to her. Taylor's fan base kept growing. Young girls saw her as a role model. Parents respected her message and work ethic. She began to appear on magazine covers. She was invited to big events. Her name was everywhere. But fame also brought pressure. The media followed her every move. Every friendship, every date, every outfit was judged. Taylor stayed calm. She said, "I don't let the noise get to me." She stayed focused on what mattered, her music. In 2009, a moment at an awards show shocked everyone. Taylor won Best Female Video at the MTV Awards. As she gave her speech, rapper Kanye West interrupted. He said someone else deserved the award. The room went silent. Taylor stood quietly, unsure what to say. She smiled politely, even though she was hurt. People supported her. Fans and artists spoke out. The moment became a big media story. Taylor didn't fight back with anger. Instead, she performed a song about forgiveness. She stayed graceful. That moment showed the world her strength. She handled pain with class. She turned a negative into inspiration. She continued to tour. She filled stadiums. Her fans screamed her name. She kept her connection with them strong. She sent personal messages. She gave surprise tickets. She showed love. And her fans returned it. They followed her journey. They grew with her. By now, Taylor Swift was more than a singer. She was a storyteller, a symbol of hope for many young people. She had faced rejection, pressure, and public moments of pain, but she turned them into songs. And every song brought her closer to the top. Taylor Swift had now become one of the biggest names in music, but she didn't stop there. She wanted to keep growing. After the success of Fearless, Taylor was ready to try something new. She wanted to take more control of her music. In 2010, she released her third album, Speak Now. This album was special. She wrote every single song by herself. Most artists work with many writers, but Taylor wrote alone. She wanted her voice to be clear and honest. Songs like Back to December and Mean showed her emotions. She sang about regret, criticism, and courage. The song Mean was about people who bullied her, but instead of being angry, she sang about rising above the hate. Speak Now was a success. It proved that Taylor could stand on her own. Her fans respected her even more. But Taylor wasn't finished. In 2012, she released another album. This time, she surprised everyone. The album was called Red. It had country, pop, and even rock sounds. It was bold and exciting. She worked with new producers. She tried new styles. Songs like I Knew You Were Trouble and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together showed her growth. Red was about big feelings: love, loss, anger, and joy. It was like a roller coaster of emotions. Taylor said, "I called it Red because that's how emotions feel red." Fans loved the honesty. The album became a global hit. But some people said she was changing too much. They asked, "Is she still country?" Taylor didn't mind. She replied, "I write what I feel. I don't fit into a box." She knew who she was. In 2014, she made another big move. She released 1989, her first full pop album. With songs like Shake It Off and Blank Space, she showed a new sound. It was fun, catchy, and smart. 1989 won Album of the Year at the Grammys. Taylor made history. She was the first woman to win that award twice. She had changed her sound, but she never changed her heart. Her music still came from truth. Taylor's concerts became even bigger. She danced, sang, and connected with fans. She made each show a special event. She also started talking more about personal issues. She spoke about body image, anxiety, and growing up in the spotlight. She wanted fans to know they weren't alone, that it was okay to feel insecure or scared. People appreciated her honesty. She wasn't just a star, she was someone who understood. Her music videos became more creative too. She told stories with visuals. Each video had meaning. She also formed strong friendships with other artists. Together, they supported each other. They shared advice and laughter. Taylor became a role model for girls and women. She showed that strength comes from being yourself. Even as she changed her style, she stayed real. That's why fans stayed loyal. From writing alone in her room to winning world awards, Taylor kept moving forward. And she wasn't done yet. Her next chapter would take her into a very public fight for her music. As Taylor Swift's music grew more powerful, she faced new challenges, some of the biggest in her career. In 2018, Taylor revealed that she no longer owned the rights to her early songs. Her old music label had sold them without her permission. This news shocked her fans. Taylor said it was one of the hardest things she had ever faced. She had written those songs from her heart. They were her life, her voice, her memories. But the business of music was complicated. Her songs were part of a deal she had signed when she was young. She spoke out about it. She explained to her fans how artists often lose control of their own work. Many people supported her. They said she was brave to tell the truth. Taylor made a big decision. If she couldn't own the old recordings, she would make new ones. She began to re-record her early albums. She wanted fans to support her versions. She called them Taylor's version. It was her way of taking back her story. The first re-recorded album was Fearless Taylor's Version. It included the same songs plus new ones. Fans loved it. They said it sounded even better. It was more mature, more meaningful. Next, she released Red Taylor's Version. It became a massive success. One of the new songs, All Too Well 10-minute version, became a fan favorite. She also made a short film for the song. It told the story with actors, images, and emotion. People praised her storytelling. They said she turned pain into art. Taylor's fight for her music inspired other artists. She became a voice for creative freedom. She said artists should own their own work. Her message was clear and strong. But Taylor didn't stop there. She kept creating new albums too. In 2019, she released Lover. It was bright, colorful, and full of joy. Then came Folklore and Evermore in 2020. These albums had a different sound. They were softer, more poetic. They told stories of other people, not just her own. She wrote them during the COVID-19 lockdown. They helped people feel calm and connected. Fans were amazed by her ability to change styles. She moved from country to pop to indie folk. But every step felt honest. Every word came from her heart. Taylor also used her fame to support important causes. She spoke out about women's rights, LGBTQ+ equality, and voting. She encouraged fans to think, to care, and to use their voices. She became more than an artist, she became an activist. But she always stayed close to her fans. She sent them letters, gifts, and surprises. She showed them that they mattered, that their support was her strength. Taylor Swift had turned battles into victories. She had taken control of her story. And through it all, she kept writing, singing, and dreaming. Taylor Swift had grown into a global icon, but she never stopped creating. Her journey continued with more albums, more awards, and even bigger dreams. In 2022, Taylor released a new album called Midnights. It was about thoughts that come late at night. She said, "It's a collection of sleepless nights throughout my life." The songs were deep, emotional, and thoughtful. Songs like Antihero and Bejeweled explored her fears, hopes, and self-reflection. They became instant hits. The album broke streaming records. Millions listened in the first few hours. It showed Taylor's power was stronger than ever. She also began her biggest tour yet, the Eras Tour. It was a celebration of every part of her career. Each concert was divided into eras, like chapters of her life. Fans dressed in costumes to match each album. The shows were huge, stadiums were full, people flew from all over the world to see her. Tickets sold out fast. Every show was full of energy, music, and memories. Taylor sang live for over 3 hours. She played songs from every album. Her fans knew every word. She danced, played guitar and piano, and changed costumes many times. It was more than a concert, it was an experience. The Eras Tour became one of the highest-grossing tours in history, but Taylor didn't do it for money. She said, "I do it for the connection, for the music, for the fans." Fans shared their love on social media. They posted outfits, videos, and emotional stories. Taylor responded by reposting, commenting, and thanking them. She always made time for her fans. Even with all the fame, she stayed grounded. She remembered her roots. She remembered how it started. From writing in her bedroom to performing in packed stadiums, her story felt like a dream come true. But Taylor also reminded people that dreams take work. Her success came from years of writing, learning, and growing. She said, "You don't wake up famous, you build it, one step at a time." She inspired young artists to keep going. She told them to write their truth, even if no one listens at first. She also helped new musicians. She gave advice, shared their songs, and offered support. She was no longer just a singer. She was a mentor, a guide for the next generation. Her story showed that you can change, grow, and still stay true to yourself. Through every album, Taylor told stories. Through every challenge, she stayed strong. She faced rejection, pressure, and unfair treatment, but she rose above it all. And she did it with a pen, a guitar, and a fearless heart. Her fans called her brave. They said she made them feel seen, understood, and loved. And Taylor never took that for granted. She said, "If one person hears my song and feels less alone, it's worth it." Taylor Swift's story is far from over, but what she has already done has changed music and inspired millions. She started as a small-town girl with a notebook. Now, she is one of the most famous and respected artists in the world. But she never forgot why she started. She still writes songs about real feelings. She still cares deeply about the people who listen. She says, "Songwriting is the way I explain life to myself." Her music is her diary, and she shares it with the world. For English learners, Taylor's songs are also lessons. They teach about love, loss, hope, and self-respect. They use real-life language. They help people learn through emotion. That's why so many people use her lyrics to learn English. Taylor also teaches through her actions. She works hard. She stays kind. She speaks up when it matters. She shows that being honest is powerful, that changing doesn't mean losing yourself, that it's okay to take back control. Her journey has many lessons. Follow your passion, work with purpose, turn pain into something beautiful. She once said, "You are not the opinion of someone who doesn't know you." That quote helped many fans feel stronger. She writes for people who feel different, people who feel left out, people who want to be seen. And that's why her voice matters. Not just her singing voice, but her voice as a person. She gives hope to dreamers. She gives courage to the quiet. She gives light to people walking through dark times. Taylor Swift's story is full of highs and lows, but she turned every challenge into a song, and every song into a step forward. She reminds us that real strength is soft, that confidence is quiet, that art can heal. Today, she continues to grow, not just as an artist, but as a woman, a leader, and a storyteller. She supports other women in music. She speaks out for fairness. She builds people up, not breaks them down. And her fans stay by her side, because they see her heart, they hear her truth. She gives more than music. She gives meaning, and that is why her story touches so many lives. If you are learning English, her story is also your story. A story about starting small, facing rejection, and never giving up. You can learn her words and also learn her strength. You can grow in language and also in courage. So remember, dreams start with a single step. Songs start with a single word, and every story, yours too, matters. Let Taylor's story remind you to speak, to try, and to believe. Because the next great story might be your own. Thank you for watching Taylor Swift's inspiring journey. If this story helped you learn English and gave you motivation, leave a comment below. What part of her story did you enjoy most? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out more true stories that help you learn English through story. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. Your story is just beginning.